So, Bjarni, you've been working in the circular economy space for quite some time now. What really initially drew you to this field?
Yeah, good question. Initially, I joined a company that funnily was named Circular Solutions, although its focus wasn't specifically on the circular economy, but more broader sustainability. Built it for 3 years into a market-leading firm and ultimately sold it to KPMG. During that time, I also joined the founding group of the Nordic Circular Hotspot. We became highly regarded in the Nordics and globally through our thought leadership around the circular economy. And like to your question, in my mind, a linear system just doesn't make sense to me. And that's really what spiked my interest. But you know what, Kent? Despite all the momentum and discussions around the circular economy, we're still seeing a massive paradox around the circular economy, and I find that kind of weird.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And really, as we've researched in the latest circular economy thought leadership pieces, I really kept seeing the same really frustrating patterns. Statistics on it are really honestly striking. Global circularity has dropped from 9.1% to 7.2% in the last 5 years. Which means, in other words, as a society, we are extracting more materials than ever before and recycling and reusing less. Yeah, what's your take on why this is actually happening?
Yeah, well, I remember when I was working with TOMRA, a recycling company here in Norway, and also creating a roadmap for Icelandic green industrial parks. It taught me something crucial. It's not always about access to capital, although that is extremely important. Organizations face deeper challenges, resource limitations, rigid structures, and knowledge gaps. So that is also super important. What has been most surprising for you analyzing some of the circular financing cases?
Yeah, I think what really stands out to me is that the companies that do break through these barriers and really address both financial on top of the organizational barriers together actually end up outperforming their peers. So take TOMRA raising 1 billion Norwegian krona, or also India's $2 billion sovereign green bond fund. Both of those are really showing that when organizations overcome these challenges, they can actually see potentially lower default rates and also stronger financial returns.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's even more telling? I read this recent study from Finland, which was essentially saying that this is how we've always done it mentality in organizations is really the primary cause that is stopping circular economy adaptation. It is difficult for a whole organization to unlearn and then relearn, new ways of circular economy.
No doubt. Yeah. So I guess understanding these challenges, if you had to name one step for organizations to take, what would it be?
From my experience, I think it starts with like a brutally honest assessment of how you price linear risks in your business model. Most organizations haven't really considered this. They don't quantify the risk of waste, resource volatility, or supply chain fragility, and those costs continue to rise. Now we're seeing somewhat of a trade war ensuing in the US or around the US and globally. So this is not really a head of sustainability job. This is a CEO and CFO and head of strategy job, of course, with the head of sustainability involved. But what do you see as the biggest opportunities when it comes to financial markets?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, circular business models have already proved that they can be more resilient and profitable. And really, I think with the continued emergence of this sustainability linked financing, financial markets will just continue to make capital cheaper for circular businesses moving forward. So, really, the real question is how do we help organizations bridge this gap between the opportunity out there and action?
That's the what was it, $4.6 trillion question. Exactly. I mean, I'm excited that we are able to work on these things at Acrona. I mean, clearly there's a huge paradox going on and like some sort of inconsistency around circular economy. And I'm just excited to be working on, developing strategies, implementing them effectively, helping secure some financing for circular economy projects. I'm fortunate that we are able to work on these types of things. Because in the end, in my mind, circularity and circular economy economic model, it just makes sense to me.